Hey you guys, welcome back, and we're going to talk to you about the next exciting show of Let's Talk Politics with Fredrick Wilson. It'll be airing on Monday, the 25th of August, 2014, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a great lineup for you. We have two guests coming on. The first one is Glo Smith, and she's running in the 5th District for Congressional House. That's right, we're talking about the U.S. House, not the State House, but the U.S. House. And that's at the top of the hour. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to have Derek Hankerson on. He's running 6th District for the State House. They're both going to come on and talk about the races one day before the primary, don't forget that, and the importance of getting out the vote. But before then, I think we need to first talk a little bit of history about how did we come to the point of who should vote and who shouldn't vote. Now, way back in May 26, 1776, John Adams, who was the second president of the United States, just before he became president, of course, wrote a letter to James Sullivan. Now, he was an attorney out of Massachusetts, and he also helped to write and vote and delegate and get everything going, basically, with our Constitution. Let's set the scene. You've all heard the term taxation without representation. The colonists were being taxed by King George III without any kind of representation. They fought, won the war. The war is over now. And now there's no government. But as you know, people need government, people need law, and people need order. So then we have men like John Adams and a whole host of them, John Hancock, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, guys like that, that came together and figured out how we're going to have this Constitution, got it voted on and ratified. But the important thing that we're going to talk about today is John Adams and his thought processes on who should vote. Now, John Adams thought that women shouldn't vote. Children shouldn't vote. And men that did not own land, he said, hey, they shouldn't vote either. Now, we know nowadays, this is 2014, that pretty much anybody can vote. They're even trying to get illegal aliens to vote. Go figure. But that's another topic. But let's try and get back to the mindset and see if this, what they were talking about back in 1776, has any relevance to today. And I'll make it short and sweet because I want you to tune into the show to get the more information. All right? First thing, women shouldn't vote. This is according to Adams. Women shouldn't vote because at that time, they knew nothing of politics, they knew nothing of business, they knew nothing of war. Consequently, they didn't need to decide on who's going to represent them with those type of choices. So they were saying, if you're ignorant of it, you don't need to vote. Make sense to me? All right. Children. Adam said children shouldn't vote because you have to fix upon them a time in which you can trust their judgment. Now, we do this today. We say 16 to drive, some places 18, 18 to vote, 21 to drink. So we have times that we say, right now at this point in time, when you turn this age, you can now be held responsible for these type of actions. So we do that. So they're saying children shouldn't vote because you really can't trust their judgment. And the last one, people that didn't own land. It's a tricky one. The thought process behind that is if a person doesn't own land, especially at that time, then they were indebted to someone. And the thought process was, if you're indebted to someone, you're going to vote or fix yourself or ally yourself with whomever you are in debt to. Here's an example. Say I'm a landowner and I want, say, Michael Jackson to be president. I come over to the person that's on my land and I say, hey, Joe, how you doing today? You know, Michael Jackson needs to be president. I really don't like Tito Jackson. Joe might say, you know what? Well, I kind of like Tito. And I might say, well, Joe, if Michael doesn't become president, he's going that Tito guy's going to raise my taxes. And if my taxes going to go up, then I'm going to have to raise taxes on the land, Joe. And I'm probably going to have to put you off. You really don't want me to put you off the land. How's the wife and the new baby? You see what I'm saying, Joe? So we really need to make sure that, who? Exactly. Michael Jackson becomes president. Now what I've done is I've just put pressure on Joe. Not to vote his conscience, but to vote his immediate situation. Now, what's Joe going to run out and do now? Joe's going to run out and tell his family and friends and anybody that he thinks he has influence over to vote for Michael, because if not, he's going to be in trouble. And if I care about Joe, if he's my brother, or if he's my cousin, or anybody I really care about him, now I'm thinking, do I really want to vote my conscience and take a chance on Joe being put out and his wife and kids who I love and care about? See, now my vote is nothing now. Undue pressure. So that's voter fraud. Now, if we bring this up to modern times, we do have limits on kids still. Women now they do pretty much anything men do. So this would not make sense right now to say women can't vote, because they are in the military. They do own businesses. They do pay attention to politics. Hey, we might even have a woman president next round. Hillary Clinton's supposed to be running what we hear. She might even be president. So we know this doesn't make sense. We already know that this makes sense because we do have limits here. But what if we flip that to not owning land, to not owning anything, or to being totally in debt to the government? That means the government pays your housing, pays your lights, your utility, your health care, your education, feeds you. Could you really vote your conscience if one person you really liked and they were going to possibly cut off your benefits, but the other person promised to keep your benefits? Again, now you're voting your immediate situation. Now you have undue pressure because you're in debt to someone. So that's just a brief history. I want you to think about that. And again, if you want to look that up, that was a letter from John Adams to James Sullivan. Take a look at that. We're going to get more in depth on that, but now you understand, women, children, and people that don't own land, those are the main people they were talking about and trying to figure out who should vote. All these kind of things we're going to talk about again. Where? Let's Talk Politics with Fredrick Wilson. I will see you on Mondays, 7 p.m., www.ltpolitics.us. The call number, 917-932-1078. Think critically and get involved.